Happening, guys? It's me, Drew, aka the Green Arrow, and today is my review on the Arrow episode 21 entitled Monument Point. So let's get it started. So the whole episode revolved around Damien Dark's plan for basic domination of the whole world and making everyone die. And the best part about this was that the Arrow team only had less than 22 hours to stop this, which was, a bit of a task in itself. So we see in this episode that Vinnie Jones made an appearance again. He made another cameo appearance, and he was one of Dark's henchmen alongside Malcolm Merlin. And we got to see him take on the Emerald Archer twice in this episode. And the fight scenes were okay, but it would have been better, if they could have made it just that little bit longer and that little bit more tougher for him to actually be defeated in the way that he defeated him. So, the way he defeated him was just a bit out of the blue, put him in an arm bar and then, pretty much he was unconscious. So, it should have been a little bit better and a little bit longer. In the first time they met off and faced each other, it took a little bit longer than just 2 seconds to defeat him. But that's all good, man. It was good to see Vinnie Jones back in his role as Brick, so I'm happy with that. So then we get to see the calculator, and the first time you see the calculator, he's basically being hunted down by Brick and Hive. And they're hunting him down, and they want to kill him because he's the only guy who can stop the missiles from basically hitting their destination, kind of thing. So they basically wanted him out of the way. He entitles Brick in the forest when he's collecting firewood. He must have a guardian angel up there somewhere, because the Emerald Archer ends up turning up and having his first showdown with Brick. But as the Emerald Archer and Brick are fighting, he tells him to run. So basically the calculator runs, and he runs onto the road. They're not the safest of places to run when you know who's actually driving, but he looks up and he sees what we'll call the Arrowmobile, which we'll call the Arrowmobile because, it should be called the Felicity Rider, really. And Felicity's in there, and she basically tells him to get into the car before he gets himself killed. To which in turn he does so, he gets into the vehicle. Not a problem. Talking about Felicity, actually, it was really good this episode. I did actually enjoy watching Felicity this episode. It was basically pretty much all revolved around her and her dad stopping everything. But it was nice to see a different side to Felicity. So there wasn't Felicity and Oliver and all that Felicity Oliver drama crap what goes along with this season. It was good to see something different. So I was happy this episode to see Felicity do something different and not actually be too much with Oliver. So that was really cool to see. We end up in finding out that Felicity loses her job at Parmatech because she can't basically tell people what she does as an extracurricular job. And the board members had enough of it, and they were getting fed up, and basically said to her that they wanted her out of the building. So Felicity ends up in getting escorted out of the building by security. Later on in the episode, she ends up in going back to Parmatech with her dad, the calculator, to basically rob a piece of technology that they needed to help them stop the missiles from being launched. If things didn't actually go to plan because they couldn't get it all, the data they needed. They got about 90% of the data they needed, so they had to make the other 10% up. But because Felicity and her dad had brain boxes, that was no problem for them. It came down to Felicity. It came down to the last 30 seconds, and Felicity basically had 30 seconds to basically disarm the nuke or everyone's going to die. So she kind of remembered an old trick that she had where she set GPR coordinates somewhere different to where they were actually located, and she put the same technology and thought into the missile than she did the boats when she was younger. She ends up in missing Monument Point, which was great, and anyone who knows Monument Point would know it comes from a Superman comic. and it hits this next city, and like she's all distraught about it, and I don't quite know why she's so distraught about it, because at the end of the day, there's no real link to this town or city what got blown up. I get that 1,000 people died, but she's got to understand that she's just saved millions of lives. So like she's got to kind of weigh that up. You know who I really, really, really loved this episode, and it's Thea. Like my top person for this episode was Thea Queen. Like, it was nice to see her as Thea Queen and not as Speedy, because like obviously everybody knows her now as Speedy, right? Which is great, but like she's also a person too, and it was good to see her being her and her fighting as herself, which was really nice. Kissed, and basically he was the same guy who Oliver tortured to try and get Dark, and the same guy who she burnt his face off a little while ago. And basically Merlin gets her to do his dirty work because he's such a coward, he won't do his own dirty work. He gets her to actually fight Anarchy and to basically like bring him to justice and stop him from like killing everybody else, because that's what he thinks he's there to do. So they end up in having this really cool fight scene where Thea ends up in getting the upper hand, and she loses the upper hand, and he gets the upper hand, and loses the upper hand, and he gets the upper hand again, and he goes over and kills Alex, her boyfriend. No great loss really. I've got no attachment to the character, and I don't think many other people would have an attachment to the character neither, so it weren't a real big shame that he ends up in dying. He died. Great. And then, she goes over to him after defeating Anarchist, and he's dead, like he killed him. He stuck a cattle prod pretty much into him and shocked the living daylights out of him, and in turn it killed him, unfortunately. But like we all know that Thea's got a bloodlust, and she was brought back from the Lazarus pit, so like what is she going to do? How is she going to cope with another person who she loves to have died? So guys, you got any thoughts on that? Stick them in the comment section down below. How is Thea actually going to cope knowing now that her fella is now dead? And once again, it's all because of her dad. Yeah, Dark as well, but her dad. So just before I finish this, it was really good to see that the Green Arrow actually got to fire, I believe it was 5 arrows. It was definitely 3 trick arrows that he used this episode, which was amazing. And yeah, like I thought to myself, wow, we've actually got some arrows now. Like, whoa. And I'm just hoping the Arrow team don't think that, or the Arrow writers even, not the Arrow team, the Arrow writers don't think to themselves, you know what, like we've done it now. We've given them what they wanted. Like we've just go back to being rubbish again. Because like they need to improve, because like really this season has really, 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 really disappointed everybody who's watched it. The first 3 seasons were good. This last season, season 4, nah, it's not been as good. So yeah, it was good to see that he actually used some trick arrows. So then we end the episode with basically Spartan and the Green Arrow walking into this chamber, and all you see is these lights, these souls flowing around this chamber, and then it peels into like Dark, and yeah, his eyes were glowing, and it looks like it's bad time for Team Arrow. Ollie makes a throwaway comment like, "Oh damn, we're gonna need a bigger arrow," or something along them lines, to basically reference that, yeah, you're kind of screwed. But don't worry, you've got magic, so you'll be fine. Which doesn't make sense. Idiots. But, yeah, he's got magic. So I'm looking forward to the next episode, which should be great. It's called Lost in the Flood. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to make you a little bonus video on that one, and I'm going to stick that up as well, so you guys get to watch it and hopefully get excited for the season finale, because I know a lot of people ain't excited for this season finale because they've just basically been disappointed throughout the whole season because they feel like they've just been shitted on. But it is what it is, guys. Like, we know the writers who are writing it at the moment ain't the best sort of writers, so we've just got to really stick with it. Like, we've got to like give our support to them. I'm guessing, because if we don't give them our support, they're not actually going to make anything better for us, are they? They're just going to think they're just moaning and whining, so let's just screw it and screw us over even more. But for now, guys, that's all I got for you. My next review is going to be on Supergirl moving to the CW. That's amazing. We're actually going to get to see the Justice League, hopefully. That's all I've got for you now, guys. My next review is going to be on Supergirl and her moving to the CW, and that's amazing. Thank you very much, CW, for putting her onto this channel and giving us the Justice League. Hopefully. But like I always say, guys, if you like what you heard, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. If you want to stick a comment, guys, in that comment section down below, that's going to be great. It's going to help me improve the channel and give you guys the content that you actually want and enjoy. I say it all the time, guys, but if you want to be a negative Nancy, that's also fine too. You can stick that comment in that section down below, and I'll get back to you at some point in the future. If you want to be kept informed in all things Marvel and DC, guys, hit that subscribe button. But as always, guys, I am your host, Drew, aka the Green Arrow. Straight shooting. People!